I'm so excited for this. You don't understand, but you will by the end of this. You will. The year's 2004. These two movies come out in the same year. These two movies are both about presidents' daughters, and they're basically the same, but yet so different. But they're similar enough to where you're like, how did two people come up with this separately and make it in the same year? One is called Chasing Liberty. The other one is called First Daughter. But Chasing Liberty did beat them, so technically this one was like, hey, we did it first. Even if they filmed it later and it came out earlier, still, like, they were like, we got it out there first, so we were the first ones technically. Chasing Liberty came out January 9th, 2004, and First Daughter came out September 24th, 2004. So like a few months later, like beginning of the year and then late in the year. The main character is the president's daughter. They are both 18. They are both going to college. They both want their freedom. They both meet a guy. And there is a twist. The twist is the same. Like, everything is basically the same, but the movies are pretty different, I would say. Like, very different. The vibes are just different. Both of these movies are free on YouTube, actually, and I didn't even plan that, but they're both free on YouTube if you want to watch them, like, before or after this, or if one of them interests you more than the other one and you just want to go watch it, I would highly recommend it. The stars of these movies, like, I love them both equally. Like, they are both my 90s, 2000s queen. First Daughter stars Katie Holmes, who is playing the daughter of the president, who is Michael Keaton. Now, hi. The girl who always stood out is finally getting the chance to fit in. Samantha McKenzie, the daughter of the President of the United States, arrives at college with a group of Secret Service agents. Samantha, however, resents their presence and decides she wants to attend school just like a normal student. Her father agrees to recall the agents, but secretly assigns James. Well, okay, this is the spoiler, but okay, I guess I'll just tell you the spoiler. This is the big twist, but he secretly assigns James, an undercover agent, to pose as a student. They fall in love, but their romance is jeopardized when Samantha learns James' true identity. Okay, so you're like, oh wait, like this is like such a original idea. So now we have Chasing Liberty, starring Mandy Moore. If you know me, you know I adore Mandy Moore. Starring Mandy Moore, who is the president's daughter, who is played by Mark Harmon. He plays the dad on Freaky Friday. That's what I feel like most people would know him from. I don't know. Didn't he play in like NCIS for like 28 years or something? And I'm like, who's that out on Freaky Friday? How do you fall in love with the whole world watching? The president's daughter, unable to experience life like a normal 18-year-old, escapes from her entourage of Secret Service agents while traveling in Europe. She falls in love with a handsome British stranger who also happens to be working undercover for her father. The same thing. It's the same thing. I would say First Daughter is more like a Cinderella story, and then Chasing Liberty is more like the Lizzie McGuire movie or like a Mary-Kate and Ashley movie. Let's compare these two movies and see which comes out on top. So in First Daughter, Sam, who is played by Katie Holmes, she's like a goodie. She's like more reserved. And in Chasing Liberty, Anna, who is played by Mandy Moore, she's more of like the wild type. She's ready to explore Europe with these people, with this man. They both have nicknames that the Secret Service agents give them. Sam's is Lucky Charm, which I think is really cute. And then Anna's is Liberty. Because when I saw the title, and I was like, is her name Liberty? Like, why would it's like the president calling his daughter Liberty? Like, okay. But that's just like her nickname. So that's why the movie's called Chasing Liberty. And then the president's Michael Keaton, Mark Harmon. The most believable out of these two was probably Mark Harmon. I think a lot of it has to do with the movies that I've seen Michael Keaton in, and a lot of them he's like not presidential. He's like not doing too well. I feel like Mark Harmon, I always see him in like dad roles or like in a very, he just seems very like presidential, you know? So we're not here for like the presidential stuff. They're like a very small part of this movie. These are not political movies. These are rom-coms to their core. And that's why I love them. So the love interests. This is why we're all here, okay? So first let's talk about James. He's the love interest in First Daughter. He does seem a lot older than like a college age person, but I love James. Okay, I'm just gonna come right out and say I love this man, like in this movie. Their meet cute was cute. So they're in class. Sam is sitting a couple rows in front of him in class, and she has these two agents, security guards. I don't know exactly what the wording is for this. I'll probably say like security guards, agents, Secret Service. I don't know. Like I feel like they're all the same, but they may not be. But she has these two security guards like sitting next to her, space all around her to like keep her safe. Everyone has to like stay away from her. So she's getting a lot of attention and everyone's staring at her and like she feels really uncomfortable. The teacher's like, why don't you pay attention to me instead of this girl over here? Like putting more attention on it. James, being the great guy he is, he was reading the room, he like makes a joke and it distracts everyone from her. They walk out of class and she's like, thank you for doing that. Like she knew what he was doing.
I don't see any mention about a vessel of any kind. You said you were gonna fill one? Right? I did say that. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. Very literal interpretation. Thank you very much.
I wanted to thank you for rescuing me in there.
Who's left? Besides, you don't strike me as the kind of person who needs rescuing.
They did lots of cute date type things. They like went to the movies, they like went out to eat pizza, they went to like the fair. More of like a cutesy vibe with them.
What are you doing?
Chocolate snack must be poured directly over popcorn. That way you get that delicious salty sweet mixture. Well,
It's disgusting. I love it.
The sweetest thing that I thought he did was she told him about this charm bracelet that her dad got her, and it had charms for like different memories they had made. And when they were at the fair, he goes to one of those little like dime flatteners and it says something about like where you are. He makes one and he gives it to her and he says, for your charm bracelet, for one of the first memories you've made on your own, like without your dad being there. Like, it's so sweet, it's so sweet. Okay, so anyway.
Your bracelet. Just the first of all the trips you're gonna take on your own.
I feel like he would be really believable as a Secret Service agent. Like he's like kind of a big guy, like he just seems like he would be, you know, something like that. Like so the love interest in Chasing Liberty, Ben, aka Matthew Good. I have to mention like the actor for this one because I didn't really know the other actor, but for this one I have to mention that it's Matthew Good. He was also in another movie that I love, Leap Year, and there were some similarities to that movie and this movie too, so they are all just like, they met because Anna was trying to get away. And, well, at first they like meet, she bumps into him and she's like, sorry, and they like look at each other for a second.
Sorry.
Excuse me.
Okay.
But then later she's running away from like the agents because she like she doesn't want to be watched all the time. So she's running away from them and she's like, hey, can I get on your bike thingy? And so he rides her away.
Sir, excuse me.
You all right? Could you please help me get out of here?
Anna! Yeah, why not?
Thank you.
Stop!
Go, 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 go!
And if he wasn't an agent himself, he'd probably go to prison. But like, fine, it's whatever. I feel like they did have chemistry, especially in the first, like when they first meet. Their meet cute was really like, you could feel the chemistry. And then the last scene of the movie. But like in between, it was more like an adventure movie. It wasn't really focused on their relationship. Theirs was more like tongue-in-cheek, kind of like love-hate relationship. And I liked the fake marriage scene, which Matthew Good, the actor, also did in Leap Year. There was an almost like exact same scene as that in this movie. So they pretend to be married so that they can get a free gondola ride because neither of them have money because their friend stole their money.
But, sir, we're newlyweds. Right? Right, honey?
That's right, sweeties.
Precious, I love it when you call me that.
And the man is like, oh, you can stay at my house with my mom. And so they're like, oh, we have to tell his mom that we're married too. So they get a room together. He sleeps on the floor. She sleeps in the bed. Like,
Mama, they're newlyweds.
Newlyweds? You will sleep in Eugenio's room. It will bring him luck.
Oh, no, that's...
Fatto, deciso.
he's the king of this trope. We have to talk about the twist. No. So like through part of the movie, we don't know that they are an undercover agent. And like when I watched it through, I've seen both of these twice. When I watched them through the second time, I was looking for like clues that they were undercover, like before we're supposed to find out, and there aren't really any clues. Like I don't think we're supposed to know. I think it is supposed to be like a reveal for us too, which I think is really fun. Okay, so we have to talk about the twist and how they reveal that they are undercover Secret Service agents. I'm very passionate about this part. First daughter. This reveal is perfect. It's like M. Night Shyamalan like type realness. So they're at this event and someone crashes into a car next to her and she's like, oh no, because you know, you don't know what's happening. Someone could be trying to hurt her. So he takes her away. He like picks her up.
Yeah, there are a lot of protesters here. Have you talked to any of these people? What would you have? Keep going. Stay with the shot. Emergency motorcade. Lucky Charm, on the way.
They're going to find like a getaway car. He lets her in the car and she's like, why aren't you getting in with me? You're like, come get in with me, let's go. And he pulls out his walkie-talkie thing and he says, Lucky Charm secure. And her face drops. And her face drops. We're finding out when she finds out. And then he shuts the door in her face. Like he doesn't, he says Lucky Charm secure, it slams the door.
Roger that, we're taking it on.
Lucky Charm secure.
And then she's just sitting there in silence, in shock. By what she saw. I have chills. I legitimately have chills. It's so good. There's nothing more that I love than a good twist. A good twist that's done well. There's nothing better. So in Chasing Liberty, it's quite different because, okay, the first one, the one in First Daughter, the reveal is not until an hour and 6 minutes in. The one in Chasing Liberty is, for us, 27 minutes into the movie. The difference in this one, other than that we find out like 30 minutes earlier, is that we find out and we know, but she doesn't know. So like we find out and then she finds out an hour and 28 minutes into the movie. It's like at the end of the movie when she finds out, but we're having to know this the whole movie. And it causes a different experience to happen while you're watching this. So they're like sitting together and these two Secret Service agents drive up and she's like, oh, I don't want them to see me. So she goes to the bathroom to hide and he's like, I'll hold up the fort while you're in the bathroom. And he walks outside and he like walks up to them and he says, what took you guys so long? No.
What took you guys so long?
Then she finds out an hour later in the movie, they're at this parade and he's on the phone with one of the agents and he's like, I'll get her back to you. And she hears him, she's standing behind him and she hears him talking.
I'll have her in front of the victory column in 1 hour, and then this whole thing will be over and she'll be all yours.
What is going on?
I just liked finding out at the same time as she does, because it makes you feel it too. Like, I got chills when I first saw it. Like, it gave me this visceral reaction. So the costume design and the dresses, I thought for both of these were very 2004, which is perfection, because they're going to like these presidential events. They get to wear like these gorgeous gowns. My favorite one from First Daughter was at the end. She's wearing this purple gown and these purple gloves. Gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
I have my own policies to think about.
When I'm awfully low and the world
That
is
was a nice speech.
Thanks.
I will feel a glow just thinking of you.
What I love about these movies with the costume design is that you're seeing like her in these gowns and like super president's daughter outfits, you know, the blazer pencil skirt type thing, and then you're seeing these like sweatpants, hoodie. This probably sounds like so odd, but I love 90s 2000s collegiate attire. Like, one of my favorite outfits of hers is where she's running and she has like these, they look kind of like velour pants with the stripes down the side and this giant hoodie. That's a scene where she's like crying her eyes out, but I just love the fit, girl. Like, love your fit. Maybe if I had walked by her and been like, love your fit, she wouldn't have cried. And when she puts on his hoodie, like, how can you not love a movie where he gives her his hoodie?
You need a Kleenex?
Oh no, I'm fine.
For Chasing Liberty, she's not wearing as many like gowns and stuff, but this one that she wears is, she doesn't have like many outfits at all because she's in like the same outfit for over half the movie, I would say. At the beginning, she has this gown that is, it's like this pink and it's like glittery and it's so perfect.
I don't know how you stand it. I mean, I got rid of my babysitters when I was like 14. Yeah. I'm afraid it doesn't work like that in the land of the free.
And then she has this striped top, which is the shirt that she's wearing like half this movie. And it's like, it's pink, I think. Is it pink or orange? I literally can't tell. I think it's pink and gray stripes, and it's like kind of scooting it like off the shoulder almost. Amazing. It reminds me of some shirts I used to have. I forgot to mention that Anna in Chasing Liberty, her hair just randomly changes. She's at this event, the same one where she was wearing that pink dress, and her friend shows up and they go change clothes, and she literally, I guess they're insinuating that she dyes her hair in the bathroom at this event, and it's like cut differently and like chopped up and everything, and I'm like, okay. But like, it's so sudden. It's so sudden. I'm a big soundtrack girl, and the soundtrack has to hit. And both of these soundtracks did, but in such opposite ways. So in First Daughter, most of the music in this is very like soft. There aren't like specific songs that stand out. It's all kind of similar. Like if they're running from people, like it's like, whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah. But they're like running for their lives. It's kind of funny.
Come on.
It just kind of kept you, it's one of those like relaxing, I would say this is a comfort movie. Comforting movie. If you want to relax and watch a cute little movie, this is one of those. For Chasing Liberty, it's just like bop after bop. It's like lots of bops, like some music you may know. A lot of it's during the night. It's like very dark. It's more of like a, I don't know, it's for baddies. It's just for baddies, I guess. Some like special things that each movie brought to the table. In First Daughter, I don't think I noticed this as much at the first time that I saw it. I noticed this one transition, but the transitions in this movie, like whoever did this deserves a raise. Like they need to go back, find out who did it, give them a raise 20 years later for this if they didn't. Because these transitions are so good and like they're so unnecessary. But in the best way possible. This is what makes this movie so special. Like she's standing there getting her picture taken by this lady because she recognizes her as the president's daughter, and she's taking her picture. It flashes, she's somewhere else and starts walking. Like,
Oh, that's nice. Yes. Thank you.
Really don't feel obligated to tell me anything about yourself.
it's so funny. But my favorite one, she says something like, I bet you're gonna look good in a suit, to James, and he's standing there, he's just standing there, and then it transitions to him in a suit, and it's the funniest thing I think I've ever seen in my life, but it's perfect.
Just a moment, please, ma'am.
James, I have a feeling you're gonna look great in a tux.
And then in Chasing Liberty, I didn't notice this until the second time I watched it. There is a part in the movie where one of their friends, or they meet this guy. I really wouldn't call him his friend because he like legitimately steals money from them. And then later they're like, oh, you, like, okay. But this guy, he gives out these stickers and he tells people to stick them all over the place so that like, if someone sees it, they're like, oh, I know about those stickers, and it like connects everyone. At the beginning, like close to the beginning of the movie, before we even meet him, like long before we meet him, you see one of the stickers up on the bathroom wall and you're like, oh, I see the sticker. So it's like an Easter egg. I love it. If there's one thing I love also, it's an Easter egg.
I can't believe he did it again.
Usually in rom-com movies, there is another romance, like the side character romance as well, like a little side story. And sometimes if we're really lucky, or maybe unlucky, you could look at it either way, the side love story is better than the real love story. In First Daughter, she has a friend named Mia. This isn't really a romance. Like she likes this one guy and they kind of hang out a little bit, so there's not really a love story with them or anything, but I'll talk more about that later in a different part of this.
Now, what you do off the field?
Are you alright? Okay, I need backup. I really like this guy. What happened to all the ones you've been kissing since school started? When I really like a guy, it means I'm not gonna kiss him.
But in Chasing Liberty, Alan and Cynthia, the agents that are following them around the entire movie, I love them because like they're partners and they like work together, but he's always like playfully flirting with her and she's like, stop, but then she's like, stop, and then she's like, wait, don't stop, you know.
You look good in that blouse. You should wear them more often.
Actually, it's a sweater.
Sweater, blouse, you wear it well. Take a compliment.
He talks about how he's like losing his hair and she's like, well, maybe if you kind of shaved it or something, like I think some girls kind of like it. And he's like, oh, okay. And then in the next scene, he's like shaved his head and she's like, Hey. So some like silly extra little parts that I felt like I had to mention. In First Daughter, the girl that plays one of the evil stepsisters in A Cinderella Story is in this one scene in this movie, and it's the funniest part of the whole movie, in my opinion. They go to her room and she plays the trumpet. Just this whole scene about her freaking out that Sam is there. She like recognizes her and she's like, oh my goodness, like, hey. The way that she laughs.
Sam, allow me to introduce you to our dorm mate, Linda of Paterson, New Jersey, plays trombone. My original roommate.
Bulletproof glass is looking pretty good right now.
And I thought it was a funny addition in Chasing Liberty where they like pretend to be newlyweds and everything, and then Alan and Cynthia show up because they're following them, and they're like, have you seen these people? And the lady's like, oh, the newlyweds. And so for a little while in the movie they think they're married.
He was last seen with these two people.
Certo, the newlyweds.
I'm glad they added like this little detail into both of these, was showing how they kind of handled being the president's daughter. They both have a scene where someone comes up to them and asks them for a photo, and they both act so like nice and sweet, and they're just like, of course. Like in First Daughter when the grandma comes up to her and takes the picture of her, and then we have that amazing transition. There was that one.
Excuse me. Otherwise, my husband will never believe me.
Sure.
Your boyfriend can be in the picture, too.
He's not my boyfriend.
You're such a beautiful young lady.
Thank you.
And then in Chasing Liberty, like at the beginning, when she's on a date, this woman walks up to her with her two daughters and she's like, can we take a picture with you, like the two daughters? And she's just like, cute, taking pictures. I thought that was really sweet. I don't know, I thought those scenes were sweet.
Hi. Hello. Hi. Hi. Would you like to take a picture?
That would be great.
Hey, come here.
Go, go, go.
You can stand here right now.
We're visiting from Florida.
I guess because I've seen so many videos of celebrities being like, go away, leave me alone. But they're literally the president's daughters, so I'm sure they like give them training on how to act if someone asks you for a picture and you cannot say no because you're gonna lose that vote, girly. Like you're gonna lose your dad that vote. But it was still sweet nonetheless. And another part that I like that they show in this is like people around them, how they're handling it. It's hard to like make friends or like have a boyfriend or date or anything because they have to handle what they're doing. Like they have to handle all the eyes on them. Like in First Daughter, Mia, she's kind of used to having attention is what they kind of say in the movie, is that she's kind of used to having more attention, and then when Sam comes in the picture, it's like she's getting all the attention. So it's like when Mia's trying to do something silly and like get some attention, like they're at a frat party and she jumps in the pool and she's like, hey, like, yeah, we're gonna make an entrance.
All right, I'm about to show you how to make a real entrance.
They see Sam and they're like, oh, all the boys start like surrounding her and like singing to her, which was that scene.
Hail to the chief as we pledge cooperation and proud fulfillment of a great noble cause.
Don't mind me.
Sing it, give me a big fetch in the bell. I'll ring it.
They did like a voiceover for it and they sound like legitimate Oompa Loompas. It sounds like an Oompa Loompa song. I see how it must be hard, like if someone else is getting all the attention and you're not getting any. But I felt like Sam was handling it well and she wasn't like throwing it in her face. If anything, she wanted the opposite, but like she can't help it. So there was this one part where they're at like this bonfire, and is it a bonfire? I think it was a bonfire. Mia had asked this guy to meet her there and she sees him and she's like, oh my goodness, I didn't think he'd show up. So he comes up to them and he legitimately, he introduces himself to Sam. He's like, oh hey, it's nice to meet you, like welcome to this campus.
Hi, Samantha. Welcome to Redmond.
And Mia's like, okay, like you have to get all the attention, and walks away.
Nice to meet you.
Excuse me. It's always about you, Sam.
Mia, wait. Where you going? Supposed to hang out. Hey, I'll see you later, all right?
I thought he was just introducing himself. Isn't that like the polite thing to do? Like if you're meeting someone's friend, like you introduce yourself. Like I don't know what else he could have done. Like I don't know. I get how that would be hard, but it was like, okay, it's not her fault. And I get it more if she was like rubbing it in your face, but she was literally like, she's just trying to live her life. Like, I don't know. But I did love Mia. Mia was sweet. She was there for her when she needed her. She didn't know how to handle it at first, but then they like made up and everything was fine. So in Chasing Liberty, kind of a similar thing where she goes on this first date and she's so excited. Like he picks her up from the White House and everything. He picks her up. They go out to a restaurant to eat. First of all, people are gonna notice if she's at a restaurant. People are gonna see. Agents are around too. This part, they're sitting at this date. These 3 or 4 guys walk up to them. They're like in hoodies. They're like not dressed for this nice restaurant they're in. One of the guys says something like, let's make this dinner more interesting. And he reaches in his jacket pocket. What do you think is going to happen? I blame these dudes. I blame you guys. Because what? Do you think they're just going to be like, oh, like, what do you have in your pocket, random guy?
Hey, thought I'd make this night a little more memorable.
He's reaching. Go! What are you guys doing? No.
Hey, wait, these are my friends!
What you're doing, guys!
Her date is like, no, they're my friends. They're my friends. First of all, why are your friends showing up to your date? Why are your friends showing up to ruin your date? Bad friends. Bad friend award. And if you told them to show up, ew, red flag. That's a red flag. After they like tackle them, he's like, it was just a camera.
Yeah, it's only a camera.
I'm so sorry.
So you show up to your friend's date to take a picture of them. Like, okay. And so after all that happens, she's like, I'm so sorry. And this man that she went on this date with, I would hope that he would be angry at his friends and be like, why did y'all show up here? Like, what are y'all doing here? Y'all are weird. He gets mad at her. He's like, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this. This is too much for me. Okay, be a man. Just be a man, okay?
You are really great. But this is just way too out of control for me. I'm sorry.
So the last part we have to talk about is the ending of these movies. Because I feel like the ending is what really makes a movie. If the movie could be awful the whole time, but if it has a good ending, I'm like 5 stars on Letterboxd. I'm like 5 stars, everyone. Everyone needs to watch this. The ending to First Daughter, Sam finds out that James is an undercover Secret Service agent. So he almost gets fired, but he ends up working actually for her dad, who is the president. That was like his goal, was to be on the sidelines of history, as they say in the movie. So they're at this event and he's there and they dance together and everything, and she's about to go back off to college and he's gonna stay there with her dad. So they kiss goodbye, of course.
I hear she'll be home for spring break. Just so you know.
And there's a Volkswagen car waiting for her to drive off to college, because at the beginning of the movie she was like, let's just pretend that I'm just like driving off to college by myself and that all of you aren't coming with me to watch over me this whole time. Yeah, she drives off in this Volkswagen car in her beautiful purple gown.
College bound till spring, she'll be back when the cherry blossoms bloom again. With romance in the air, James will be there.
And then the transition at the end is like a butterfly comes across the screen and that's it. Perfection. Pop perfection.
Memories guide me.
The ending to Chasing Liberty is pretty different too. So she finds out that Ben is the Secret Service agent also, and they don't talk for a while. He actually decides, he's like, I don't want to be a Secret Service agent. He was not as believable. I didn't believe he was a Secret Service agent for 1 second either. He wanted to be a photographer. He ends up like being a photographer. She goes off to college. She comes back home, it's like Christmas break, and her dad's like, I thought you should know that he is in London working as a photographer. Or he says, I think he found something else that he's more passionate about. He doesn't say he's a photographer, but we know what they mean. We can deduce. He's like, have you ever thought about that exchange program in Oxford? She goes off to Oxford, which is very close to our boy Ben over here. And she finds him at this opera, and I guess he's taking pictures at this opera. She pulls up, she finds him. He's like, how'd you find me? And she's like, I have connections. I love that line.
How did you know I was here?
I have connections.
If I kiss you, do you think they'll shoot me?
No. But I will if you don't.
They kiss and then they ride off into the sunset to this opera song. It's beautiful. Actually, I loved the ending to this movie. Something about opera just makes you emotional. And it was like throughout this whole scene, this opera song is playing. I loved it. The ending to both of them was great. I just had to let you know about this because I've been thinking about this for way too long. About these two movies that came out in the same year that were so similar yet so different. My queens can do no wrong. Like, they cannot be in anything in a bad movie. They can't. Katie Holmes and Mandy Moore. You did it again, girls.